General Eisenhower story continued.
He was scheduled to come on board, but he didn't come on board. He had his attaché, which was a colonel, come on board and spend a week with us. And he was checking out the boat, getting acquainted with Sidney Perkins, but Sidney Perkins at 86 years old. He couldn't stay awake very long, and he'd get drinking too much, and so the end up the attaché would come down in the bow of the cruise quarters, and we play cards with him. And he was the neatest guy in the world.
What table were you using for the card game?
Were the cruise, the
Yes,
fold-up table.
Fold up on sides.
Fold up.
We have it.
Yeah, we still have the table.
Downstairs in the cruise quarters.
Yes.
And he would come. He was such a neat guy. He came down there and have more fun playing cards than the captain of the boat. He'd come down and he'd play cards with us. And
that table now, by the way, the only table that Andre hasn't taken an angle grinder to. Yes, angle grinder, which is used to cut metal, Andre, not wood.
Now, what about this table? Do you recognize this table?
Sorry, Andre.
No, that's much later.
Oh, that's a later table. Okay, you're forgiven for that table.
Okay, that's the one we can destroy.
Now, is the table in the...
No, you can't destroy it, Andre. No.
In the dining salon.
Just kidding.
In the
I
dining
know.
salon. Is that the original table? Do you
It
think?
looks like it. It
Okay.
looked like it. I'd have to take a closer look at it, but the fireplace, I remember it, and I remember this down below.
You remember the layout down below very well?
Down below, nicely, yeah, it was
And
beautiful.
were there larger staterooms then?
Yes, beautiful, beautiful.
I
All
could-
teak, and we refinished it. Oh, I'll tell you another interesting thing. There was a couple of panels that were kind of loose, so we pulled them out, and when we pulled it out, we found newspapers
Oh my God.
between the steel hull and the wood for insulation.
Oh my
and
God.
here it was 1903, 1902 newspapers that was in between the steel hull and the teak framework. So we got a chance to read some of those old newspapers back. But anyway, so we never, it was only a couple
amazing.
panels that we loosened up, but there's probably was more down there somewhere in the between
Yeah.
Oh, well, one of the problems that we have no written history on
Yeah.
what was done, but your dissertation's really helpful.
Yeah.
What I would like to find out is the original layout down below, because it's now been relatively smaller compartments.
I'll have to go down again.
It was definitely opened up because it talks about 2 master staterooms. It
Yeah.
doesn't really have master staterooms.
I remember the bathtub.
Yes.
I remember a bathtub down there.
Yes, and that's been unfortunately replaced with other bathtubs.
Yeah, but it was what they call a regular old cast iron tub with legs, you know what they
The
call
ball and claw.
the claw, old claw.
Porcelain.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
ceramic.
Wow.
And I remember that, and
And the fireplace, was it functioning fireplace? Do you remember?
we never used it because it was only in the summertime.
Okay.
But I understood it was workable.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I understood it would work, but I didn't. We never did turn
And
it on.
so Sydney would go down below into these staterooms, rest and stuff. That's what he
Right.
would say.
Yeah.
And did he ever? And when he was and was there a separation between the wheelhouse or the dining salon and where the wheel was?
Definitely, yes.
Oh, okay.
It was totally separate.
And how would you get into the galley? Remember how access to it?
It was downstairs.
Yeah. How do you get downstairs though?
We'd have to go through the cruise quarters, but there was
forward. That's right. I thought so.
from the cruise quarters, and then there was an elevator. Like the
there's
mess
still-
boy,
yes.
the mess boy, he would pass the dishes and the food up.
That little elevator,
Yeah.
dumbwaiter, a
the elevator
dumbwaiter.
up, and then he would rush back upstairs and
catch it. Oh my
serve,
God.
and serve it, because they only had one mess boy, and it was so funny. Sidney Perkins said, "You've got to wear the right appropriate uniform." So he was all in white.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, and then to another funny story was, he invited some nuns to come on board.
Well,